Thank you very much for clicking on this video. My name is Anthony and let's discuss about the cryptocurrency market here today. Today's February the 10th. We just recently saw Bitcoin go from 10,000 US dollars and retrace back to $9,800 roughly. In my opinion, it's definitely a healthy retracement, considering that the market sentiment is definitely changing. Now, for those who are new in this channel, I like to make cryptocurrency videos. I'm starting to make more cryptocurrency videos on a daily to weekly basis. I really enjoy specific cryptocurrencies. You're going to see that more in the future. I really like Cardano as well. I'm very bullish on the project. I like Ethereum. Obviously, it's Bitcoin and Litecoin for me, and there are smaller cryptocurrencies that I'm interested in, but I'm mostly interested in the top 10 just because of from my experience from this cryptocurrency market and the maturity of these cryptocurrencies. So let's just deep dive into the cryptocurrency markets right now. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Now, I personally am not the best technical analyst, but I do like to look at fundamental analysis, and I like to look at trend trading. Trends are very important, especially for this market. If you look currently right now, we did turn down from $10,188 and we retraced back down to 9,800 currently, but like I was mentioning, it's something that's very important. It's a healthy retracement back for Bitcoin itself. You can't always just have a parabolic run, or else that will cause inefficiencies with the market. So the higher it goes, the faster it goes, the faster it will go down as well. So it's always good to keep that in mind. So that's something about Bitcoin today. Obviously, it's going to be retracing back and forth until the Bitcoin halving. That's what like I was mentioning in terms of trend trading. I believe that we're currently in the start of a bull run. So that means that that's just the process of becoming a little bit more bullish in terms of the market sentiment. So in my opinion, obviously this is not financial advice, but I think this is a really good entry point for Bitcoin. Obviously, since the end of 2019, even the middle of 2019, I've been accumulating, but it's something that you'll notice there's a lot of more cryptocurrency YouTubers, even for myself. There's a lot of more bullish news for this cryptocurrency market, so it's always good to keep that in mind. You don't like to just I personally am not a fan of trading. Not to say that it's a bad or good thing. It's just I just value investing more, holding on a coin and then selling on a specific high, and that's my long-term trading experience, especially for this market. So let's talk about also Ethereum Classic here today, which is something that was interesting for me, which is where they're jumping into the DeFi space with the Fantom partnership. Now, I'm not really big. Well, I do like decentralized finance. I think that's something that will innovate the cryptocurrency space because you could actually collateralize loans, add assets onto the blockchain. There's so many financial products that can be inputted into the blockchain, and you can actually get an ROI based on that. So that's what Ethereum Classic is trying to do here, where they're function as collateral on the Fantom platform, where the stable coins will live on the Czar Networks blockchain, agonistic stablecoin protocol named collateralized stable currency tokens, which means that in other words, Fantom is primarily targeting enterprise and governmental use cases using Ethereum Classic to mint stablecoins on permission networks. Now, for those who don't know what that means, in other words, there's a way to having an ability to earn interest from staking your stablecoins, right? So you're using that as a form of collateral, and that will potentially give ROI to investors. What does that mean? It gives a little bit more of a use case, right? It's the use case that you're using with these tokens. In 2017, there was no use cases for these. It was just all speculation. Obviously, we're not into the main adoption of cryptocurrencies, but the reason why I wanted to talk about this today is because you're starting to see small partnerships that are creating use cases for these coins just by the simple fact of holding them, right? That's why I'm very bullish on Cardano, and that's why I'll talk about that later. So as you can see here in this article, Ethereum is reportedly preferred over its most famous twin due to its commitment to immutability, as it was born from the unwillingness to manually revert the results of some smart contract hack. And that's why I'm really bullish on Ethereum Classic, is because of their philosophies. of where they want to take this blockchain. They're not in the matter of, if there's an issue with this blockchain, they're not just going to stop and then they're just going to fork the chain and just essentially just forget about that issue. And that's what Ethereum technically did with the hard fork. I will make a video about this, but in other words, that article kind of summarized that. Now, Ethereum Classic could, in theory, host the DeFi platform as well as its counterpart, which is Ethereum, who's actually innovating the space with the implementation of DeFi. But it's always good to know about these cryptocurrency blockchains. You have to look at these blockchains in terms of in a form of an investment thesis, because blockchains are something, or enterprise or platforms, in other words, can be built. You can use the technology to build, right? Bitcoin, Litecoin, right? Monero, those are currencies. Those are a form of exchange. You can invest in Ethereum, you can invest in EOS, Cardano, Tezos, those type of cryptocurrencies, because they are a form of, they're a platform, right? Enterprise or small and medium enterprises can use this blockchain or cryptocurrency to create something for their company or for an entity. That's why I'm bullish on, and that's why I like to see these type of partnerships, because it creates more use cases for enterprises. It creates more use case even for ourselves as retail investors, because we can actually get into the DeFi just get into DeFi, right? Decentralized finance is something that the world has never seen yet, right? Obviously, if you look at decentralized finance in a more institutional perspective, or a more how do I explain it, in more kind of traditional perspective, it's just like a bank, right? You put it into a specific investment, whether, because I'm in Canada, so a TFSA or a GIC, right? You put that into a specific product and you'll get an ROI, and typically these ROIs are like from 0.5% to 2%, 3% if you want to be very, very kind of risky. But with these decentralized finance, it's giving an ROI that's way more better than traditional institutions. And tap yourself on the back, because this is what's very, very important for investors. They want to see these type of implementations within specific blockchains, because it just it's allowing investors more reason to invest in these cryptocurrencies, right? It provides them more of an incentive to do so. So lastly, let's talk about Cardano. As you know, I'm so bullish on Cardano. Currently right now, it's getting to 6 cents. It's consolidating around the $1.55 billion market cap. And like I said with Cardano, this is a sleeping giant in my opinion, considering that I like what IOHK is doing, input output Hong Kong. If the page actually can load, but I'll let it refresh for a bit. But let's go back to this case here where Cardano, if you watched my video yesterday or 2 days ago where I think it's undervalued, the reason why I think it's undervalued is because of the in my investment thesis for it, which is they're taking an academic approach of making sure that whenever they release anything new with Cardano, they are making sure that it is a blockchain technology that, I don't know why it's not working, by the way, but I'm just going to click that off. But they're making sure that it's a blockchain technology that allows for great fundamentals. They're making sure that their processes are done properly. Charles Hoskinson is a great CEO for IOHK, and they're making sure that what they're doing is done properly, right? Because I'm sure you can see a lot of these cryptocurrencies here where they're trying to just release bullish news so their market cap can increase, which is why in the beginning of the video I was saying I like to invest in the cryptocurrency, specifically in the top 10, because they're the most mature, right? They don't want to go and chase the hype train. They're focused on building, right? So the reason, and I really wanted to talk about why I was reading this Reddit, right? Reddit is especially the Cardano Reddit, you can actually see the sentiment of this cryptocurrency. And um, I'm looking at, as you can see, well, why will Cardano? Let's just read this. I've been thinking about investing in Cardano. I'm not quite convinced with this project will succeed compared to projects like Ethereum, Tezos, with all the delays. I'm really skeptical about this project. What are your arguments? Well, let's talk about an argument for this question, right? In terms of formal methodology, I think Cardano is number one in terms of the development of their project. They've done a lot of research, and when I mean research, I'm talking about academic research papers that can be used as citations for essays or actual formal research. In other words, they're becoming the precedent of cryptocurrency research, and Charles Hoskinson has mentioned this multiple times. Right, he's mentioned this multiple times, and that's why I'm really bullish on that project alone, because they're doing so much research to the point where they're making sure that every I is dotted and every T is crossed. In other words, they're making sure that everything is done properly, right? And formal methodology is something that is going to be well respected as this cryptocurrency market matures. Imagine this, where imagine if you're an institutional investor, right? And you're thinking about using these specific blockchains, right? Whether it be Ethereum, whether it be Tezos, whether it be Tron, or whatever it may be, right? I'm not a big fan of Tron. I don't want to talk about that. I can, but it's neither here or there for this video. You would rather look at a cryptocurrency that was developed properly, the research was done, and it was built from the ground up with great fundamentals, because and if you were to look at the research about it, there are going to be other coders or developers who are not in the cryptocurrency space right now, but they value the research process because they can understand how it was developed. If you can understand how a blockchain was developed, you can create solutions if there were problems that were going to be occurring right in the future, because it's only inevitable, because as this cryptocurrency begins to expand and grow, you're going to obviously see and experience problems, right? So that's why I really respect the formal verification process for Cardano. Obviously, if you're reading this, that's why this isn't the only project I'm invested in, because that would be a poor investment choice, but it's definitely the one I'm most excited about as well, right? Obviously this is all speculation at this point, but here's what I'm saying. Look at this. It went up to $32 billion market cap with speculation with the prior bull market. And right now we're in the disbelief stage of the next bull run, next bull market, which is the perfect time to accumulate, right? Not investment advice, but I'm personally accumulating because I can value what this potential of Cardano could be, right? So I'm going to be making more videos about this, but just to give you some news about Cardano. Look at what Charles Hoskins says. He's bundling identity payment and authentication and supply chain systems. Now, before I leave you off with this video, I wanted to give you guys an idea of why I think Cardano is very interesting. I've done so much research on this cryptocurrencies. I've read all the research papers, and I understand how. I think I do at least understand of what they're trying to accomplish. They want to be a global operating system, a global financial system, an operating system for the world. And to do so, what they're doing is they're targeting small developing countries that actually need this infrastructure. That's why you see the partnerships with Ethiopia and Africa and Georgia and even Mongolia, because these countries actually need this type of operating system and this type of blockchain to validate their processes, their businesses, and their everyday lives, because the government, unfortunately, for these type of countries, either can be misconstrued, they can definitely be corrupt, and they can and that does no beneficial that's no benefit to the citizens and the individuals of that country, right? Cardano could be one of those tools or one of these blockchains that could validate and actually make this country prosper in a financial perspective, because these countries are actually they have a lot of potential. They just don't have the technology and infrastructure to become successful. And this is something that Cardano can do, right? So that's just one my key point. If you enjoy this video, definitely consider liking, subscribing. I'm going to be making more cryptocurrency videos. I think I'm going to talk about a little bit more Cardano in my next video, a little bit more in depth of our Cardano. I'm going to talk about other cryptocurrencies, but if you did enjoy it, definitely consider liking, subscribing, commenting down below if you enjoyed it. Like I said, my name is Anthony, and thank you very much for watching Crypto Simple. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.